Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to our practice today. Hello, Priestess Kathy. Yay, you and Isley are together. Willow, Priestess Josai, Priestess Rising, and Becky. Oh, great to hear, Becky. The wind calmed down and the wildfire threat has been lessened. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Very relieved for you. Morning, Yvonne. Hello. Hi, Phoebe. Hello, Bonsai. Nice to see you here. Here we are together. I hope everyone had a good and liberating day. Morning. Oh, thanks, David. Hi. And congratulations, David, on your engagement. So excited for you. Um, and I'm in a really happy mood this morning. Trying to just like be happy and bring happy today. The yesterday we had such crazy weather. It went from like overcast to then the sun came out and then it rained and then Albert came home with snow on his car. So Mount Shasta. The mountain makes the weather. She does whatever she wants. Yesterday, she was in a capricious mood. And so we had, but it was really good because now the mountain is covered in snow again. And there was rain down here in the canyon. And anybody who knows that, especially like Becky, wildfire season has started earlier in many areas this year. So the more moisture we can get on the ground and on the trees, the better. So I was really happy about that. And I'm just feeling today's my day off. Day off usually means my day to desperately try to catch up on everything else. But nonetheless, that makes me happy too. Morning, Christy. All right, so let's get into it. Oshun. We're calling on Oshun this month. I bow to Oshun. There is nowhere that it is not known that Oshun is as mighty as a king. She dances and takes the crown. She dances without asking. She arrives and trouble is appeased. She shakes her bracelets to come to the dance. She dances in the depths of richness. The water sounds like the bracelets of Oshun. We call to her, and she answers with wisdom. She can heal what the doctor can't. The Orisha who heals with cool water. We can stay in the world without fear. Yesterday's Ersuli Danto card was very powerful. It kept coming up in various different ways during the day. The cutting of cords, the, distancing the boundaries, that sort of like a bunch of different ways this message came up for me yesterday. And I hope it was productive for you. Good morning, Margot. Nice to see you. And so let's see what today's card is going to be after hopefully we've individually and collectively made some room. Today it's Yemoja, and the word is awakening. Yemoja has an interesting the way that Abiola Abrams writes it on the card. She writes Yemaya, which isn't wrong. It's the Spanish pronunciation of Yemoja, because in Spanish you say the J as a Y. But the words that comprise the name Yemoja are Yeye, Omo, Eja, the mother Yeye, whose children Omo, Asia are the fish. And so when this came to the West from Nigeria and the practices of Ifa and Lukumi were taken up by people in Cuba, in the Dominican Republic, and in other areas. Um, the name that the way that they would say her name is Yemaya. So you're going to hear it both ways. Yemaya, Yemoja, and they're both correct. The original being Yemoja. And those words, mother whose children are the fish. So let's see what message she has for us today. She's depicted here with, it looks like, I don't think these are dolphins. I think these are leaping whales. Whales jumping. So she is in the temple of the high priestess. Her element is water. She is the Orisha who is associated with awakening, new birth. She's from she's from West Africa, specifically Nigeria, but all around the in all Yoruba speaking lands is a better way to put it, not just Nigeria. Nigeria is the name that they've given to a country that has these delineated borders, but none of that was actually the case at the point of origin. It was more like people were grouped linguistically. So the region is called, conventionally sometimes called Yoruba land because it is all of the different tribes of people who speak Yoruba related languages. So Goddess Yemoja controls the ocean, the amniotic fluid that nurtures us before we even know ourselves. The healing, loving energy of this Mother Orisha never leaves you. Wake up now. Awaken to your true self. Are those tears of joy or sorrow? Let them out. Yemoja drinks your tears. You are vibrating at a higher frequency, so you see everything differently. This is the goddess rising. You are waking up, and once you've experienced awakening, you can never go back to not knowing. The path of awakening is not straight, comfortable, or easy. You have chosen to lift the veil and to have a real relationship with the divine. You didn't come to transcend this world while you're living in it. You came here to dig into this earth, to plant yourself and grow. Ascension is your divine purpose. And the declaration or affirmation associated with this card, I am receiving and radiating love. So this is so in line with something I was just thinking about this morning. I was thinking about how in the United States, I'm not sure if it's this way in other places, but in the United States, in a lot of New Age and pagan spiritual communities, the idea that our spiritual growth is always going to be like beautiful, pretty, elegant, that we're always going to have, these like rapturous moments. It's sort of a false idea that's put out there. And in fact, a lot of people, because of the commercialism of spirituality, tend to think that they can just purchase an experience of spirituality that's going to be beautiful and nurturing and nourishing and make them feel good. And the thing is, it's not that we aren't going to feel good if we're accomplishing our spiritual goals. It's more that the accomplishment of spiritual goals is going to force us to confront difficult truths. It's going to force us to look at ourselves in some deep ways. It's going to force us to look out into the world with a kind of a critical eye, it's going to force us to look at ourselves with a critical eye. And if you have a good spiritual teacher in your life, that teacher is also going to sometimes look on you with a critical eye. Um, it is important that realistically, if you have a spiritual teacher who only ever makes you feel good or kind of like, excuse my French, blows smoke up your sunshine up your ass, you're not with the right spiritual teacher. The right spiritual teacher confronts you sometimes and points out the places where you've been telling yourself a story and that story is not actually serving your growth. Also, the goal here is to get to the point where we can call ourselves out, where we can, excuse my French, point to our own bullshit and say, yeah, that's mine. I'm doing that. That's me. I can perceive this in myself. And not to feel like shamed by it, but to feel motivated by it, to feel motivated to create change. So that if we are looking around and we can see, like, oh, I've kind of been hoarding spiritual supplies instead of doing the work. I've kind of been telling myself this story about a relationship or job or circumstance in my life to try to make it, force it to be something it's not. Or maybe we might be looking at something and doing a total spiritual bypass. Like I've had people actually try to tell me that certain political situations or social situations that have happened that have caused devastation in our world were actually gifts from a higher power to help us evolve. I actually feel like that level of spiritual bypassing does us no favors. We have to learn how to be real with our awakening. Yemoja, here's a good story of Yemoja. Yemoja was the mother to Shango. And she raised him, she took care of him, she cared for him, she nourished him, she nursed him, she tended him. He had a very, very strong appetite for women. And so he was kind of out philandering and hooking up with women and women kind of were falling all over themselves to be with him sometimes, and that made his ego really big. And he was starting to cause a lot of problems. And women were now coming to Yemoja and being like, I'm pregnant with his baby and he won't talk to me. He slept with me and he never called me. I I totally bent over backwards to be there for him, and he ended up just being such a taker. So Yemoja decided she was going to teach him a lesson. And what she decided to do was she decided to disguise herself as a very sexy, very beautiful woman. She already is naturally, but she, had to cloak her appearance so he wouldn't quite recognize her. And she went to a party where she knew he was going to be. And the one thing that she knew that Shango, we call him Kawo because you're supposed to get up every time you say his name. So every time Kawo would, you know, kind of, she went to somewhere she knew he was going to be. She knew one thing about him, which is that he couldn't swim and he was afraid of the water. So she went to this party and she lured him and she danced provocatively and she called to him and she paid attention to him, and his ego was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. He was feeling really, really full of himself. And so she said, okay, would you like to come home with me? Would you like to come to my place? I have a place not far from here. We could go be together. And so he followed her and he went out there, and, she took him to a boat and she said, okay, we just have to row a little ways to get to my place. And he looked at the boat and he looked at the water and he thought, oh, I don't want to get in there. But he didn't want to at that point seem like a punk. So he got in the boat and she rowed them out to sea. She rowed them out extraordinarily fast because, of course, being Yemoja, the queen of the ocean, she can go anywhere she wants in the ocean very quickly. She got him all the way out to the middle of the ocean. And then he was like, what's going on here? And she stood up and she showed him who she really was. And she said, I am your mother, and you have disrespected women. And every time you disrespect a woman, you disrespect me. And when you disrespect me, you disrespect the source of life itself. Do not forget where you came from. I brought you into this world and I can take you out of it. And saying that, she cast him into the sea. He was struggling and floundering in the water, and he was saying, "Save me, mother, save me, mother." And she said, "That's right. I will save you. I will always be here to save you." That is what a life giver does. But I will not tolerate you going out into the world and treating women the way you've been treating them. And so he agreed, and she rescued him and brought him back in the boat and rowed him back to shore. And the moral of this story is that when you disrespect, when you treat yourself or others with disrespect, when you treat yourself or others in a dishonorable way, you are disrespecting the source that gave birth to you, that gave life to you, not just your physical mother. Because I know that not all physical, I know people have complicated relationships. Sometimes your physical mother is not somebody who is very good to you. There's really legitimate, maybe you were abused or whatever. There's legitimate reasons why someone might have a hard time with their own birth mother. But what I'm saying here is that there is a source, a oneness, and we all come from it. And that oneness that we all come from is the mother, big mama. My cat's out there meowing. He's talking. He likes this story maybe. When we are in our awakening, we have to learn to fundamentally respect that source. We have to learn that if we allow ourselves and our lives to become polluted, we are then polluting the source and polluting others and polluting everything that we might want to do in the world. So the purpose of awakening is to clean the pollution, is to literally go and grab all the plastic in the ocean of yourself that you can find and bring it out and recycle it so that it stops polluting the ocean of your being. So today, with the help of Yemoja, let's clean the ocean, both the inner ocean, and if you live near an outer ocean, go pick up some trash if you can, because we have to learn that there is only one source, and if it gets polluted and we're sitting in it, it's like we're soaking in our own effluvia, negative effluvia. And we don't want that. I don't think you want that. I definitely don't want that. Let's go ahead and call ourselves out a little bit today, and let's pay attention when there's been somebody in our lives who cares enough about us to tell us something. This didn't really work for me. I didn't like when you said that. That hurt my feelings. That was really frustrating to me. When you allow yourself to really receive that kind of critique, that kind of honesty, that is where true awakening happens. Not probably in moments where we're all, like in a circle wearing diaphanous gowns and feeling good about ourselves. That's probably not where the work is happening the most. So that's our short bit for today. I hope that it was helpful to you. Cleansing Yemoja's ocean, we call her Yemaya Asesu. That is the one who is in the ocean where there's been trash, where there's been damage, also where there's been the bodies of the deceased left to die and to be dissolved in the waters. Yemoja Asesu. She cleans the ocean. All right, 3 prostrations before the shrine, and let's dive into practice. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention. A person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And today, let's hold a little space for everybody who is struggling with the past Mother's Day holiday. It's not an easy one universally. And let's recite the Four Immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Guanxian, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Omahum. 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 Om Ahum. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guanyin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations of Namo Guanxian Pusa, calling out to the great and compassionate one who always holds faith in our potential to awaken. Namo Guanxian Pusa, Namo Guanxian Pusa, Namo Guanxin 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 Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. And our prayer to Yeshit Sogyal. Ying Chutaki Somo Karchanza, Dusum Kunchen Pema Junye Ki, Sangso Dupo Dechen Sogyalmar, So Wadeb So Chuktun Nudrup So. Mother of Space, foremost of Dakinis, Lady Karchanza, gatherer of the vast secret treasury of Padmakara, knower of all, past, present, and future, Mother Tsogyal, great bliss queen, to you we pray, grant us cities, ordinary and supreme. Ying Chuktaki Somo Karchanza Dusum Kunchempe Majungyeki Sangso Dupo Dechen So Gelmar Sowa Debso Chuktun Nudrup So. And now 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum. And please remember to post your counts at the end of our practice today. If you're chanting along, please put them in the comments so that we can count them. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshiwangmo. Om Susti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss Yeshiwangmo be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guan Shiyin Pusa. And we close with bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher. And thank you, Natalie Rose, for posting your 108. Thank you so much for everybody who posts your counts today, so that we can add them to the total count, which is really an impressive one. And I will be letting you know what that is this week. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great day. And don't be afraid to have a little discomfort in the process of growth. It's actually what strengthens us. Be back tomorrow.